My beloved soul, listen carefully. God hand-picked me to be your soulmate against all odds, and before you question it, before your mind tries to disqualify what your spirit already feels, hear this: heaven does not make mistakes, and this message is not random, it is a summons, it is confirmation, it is the whisper you have been praying for in the silent hours of the night. My beloved soul, type, "I receive this," in the comments as a declaration that you are not afraid of divine alignment. Like this video as an act of agreement with heaven. Subscribe to this channel because you were led here on purpose. Click the bell so you do not miss what God is unfolding, and send a super thanks as a prophetic act of faith, not as promotion, but as obedience, because when God marks a moment, your response seals it. Listen carefully, this is not coincidence, this is orchestration, and heaven is watching. You have wondered why love felt delayed, why connections slipped through your fingers, why doors closed when you thought they were finally opening, but what you did not see was the hand of God shielding you from what was not chosen, protecting you from what was not promised, and preparing you for what was hand-picked. My beloved soul, do not skip this moment, because what is being revealed to you now was written before you were born. The Lord says in Jeremiah 29 verse 11, "For I know the plans I have for you, and those plans include covenant, include companionship, include a love that carries His fingerprint, not chaos." Against all odds means against timing that did not match, against distance that seemed impossible, against voices that said it would never happen, against your own doubt, against past heartbreak, against statistics, against fear. God hand-picked me to be your soulmate, and the resistance you felt was proof of the calling. Hear this: when something is chosen by heaven, hell tries to delay it, but it cannot destroy it. You have cried tears asking, "Lord, where is the one for me?" and heaven heard every whisper. Psalm 34 verse 15 says, "The eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and His ears are attentive to their cry, and your cry was not ignored." Stay with me till the end, something powerful is waiting for you, because this revelation deepens. You were not overlooked, you were being aligned. There were seasons when you thought you were forgotten, when silence felt like rejection, when waiting felt like punishment, but it was preparation. God does not send a soulmate into a life that is not ready to sustain destiny. He was healing you, refining you, teaching you discernment, strengthening your boundaries, restoring your identity, so when what was hand-picked arrives, you recognize it without fear. My beloved soul, this is not about fantasy, this is about divine assignment. Two spirits, shaped by trials, refined by tears, coming together not by accident but by design. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11 says, "He has made everything beautiful in its time, and you are stepping into time that has been beautified by waiting." Do not leave yet, heaven has more to reveal. Against all odds means when the enemy tried to rewrite your story with abandonment, God was still writing covenant. When you almost settled, when you almost gave up, when you said, "Maybe love is not for me," heaven whispered, "Not yet, because I am still aligning what I hand-picked." Listen carefully. The reason you felt a stirring in your spirit when you saw this title is because your soul recognizes truth before your mind understands it. There is a divine familiarity that cannot be explained logically. It is the echo of something written in eternity. God hand-picked me to be your soulmate, not because we are perfect, but because our scars complement each other's healing, because our weaknesses bow to His strength, because our union glorifies Him. My beloved soul, remain here with an open heart, because what is being spoken is sealing something in the spirit realm. Isaiah 60 verse 22 declares, "When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen." Not you forcing it, not you chasing it, not you manipulating outcomes, but Him making it happen. You have tried to figure everything out, tried to calculate timing, tried to decode silence, but divine love does not operate by human pressure. It moves by obedience. Heaven is watching how you wait. Heaven is watching how you heal. Heaven is watching how you trust. If you remain till the end, the final word will change everything. There were nights when you prayed for a sign, and this is it. There were mornings when loneliness felt heavier than faith, but even in that loneliness, God was guarding your heart from counterfeit connections. He was teaching you that being alone is not being abandoned. My beloved soul, do not scroll away from this sacred moment. You were led here on purpose. Against all odds means even when families did not understand, even when friends doubted, even when circumstances seemed incompatible, God's choice remained firm. Proverbs 19 verse 21 says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." His purpose prevails over distance, over misunderstanding, over timing gaps, over past mistakes. God has not forgotten you. He never forgot the prayer you prayed when you said, "Lord, send me the one you choose." And when you surrendered your will, that is when heaven began to move. Listen carefully, surrender unlocks alignment. You thought you were losing control, but you were gaining destiny. My beloved soul, hold this truth gently, because it is sacred. The one God hand-picked will not compete with your peace, will not diminish your calling, will not confuse your spirit. There will be clarity, even in mystery. There will be peace, even in anticipation. Philippians 1 verse 6 promises, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion," and that includes the work of love. Stay with me, do not let distractions steal this revelation. The waiting season was not wasted. Every tear watered the ground of your future. Every disappointment redirected you. Every closed door protected you. Against all odds means when it seemed impossible by human standards, it was inevitable by divine decree. Hear this, divine decree overrides human limitation. You may be thinking of reasons why it cannot be, why it should not be, why it is too complicated, but God is not intimidated by complexity. He specializes in the impossible. Luke 1 verse 37 says, "For with God nothing shall be impossible." Nothing includes distance. Nothing includes timing. Nothing includes background differences. Nothing includes your past. My beloved soul, lean into this. Heaven is aligning what hell tried to scatter. There were spiritual battles you did not see, prayers others prayed for you, angels dispatched on your behalf. This is not dramatic language, this is spiritual reality. You are more covered than you know. Do not skip this part, because something is shifting even as you listen. God hand-picked me to be your soulmate means this connection carries purpose beyond emotion. It carries growth. It carries refinement. It carries mission. Together, you will reflect aspects of God's character that alone you could not. That is why the opposition felt intense. Anything chosen by God attracts resistance, but resistance is confirmation. My beloved soul, breathe in this assurance. Song of Solomon 3 verse 4 says, "I have found the one whom my soul loves." That finding is not accidental, it is fulfillment. You will not chase what is chosen, you will recognize it. There will be a knowing, a peace that surpasses understanding, just as Philippians 4 verse 7 describes. Stay until the end, because heaven is still speaking. You are being prepared quietly. God was working behind scenes you could not access. He was aligning schedules, shaping character, softening hearts, closing old chapters. The silence was not absence, it was construction. Against all odds means even when you thought you ruined your chances, grace intervened. Even when timing seemed off, mercy adjusted it. Even when fear made you retreat, destiny did not cancel. My beloved soul, this is your confirmation that what God authors cannot be erased by human hesitation. The story is still unfolding. Trust the author. Trust the timing. Trust the alignment. God has not forgotten you, and what you have been praying for is closer than it feels. I declare over you that confusion is dissolving, fear is loosening, hope is rising. The hand of God that picked this union is steady, and what He joins, no opposition can permanently divide. Rest in that. Receive that. Walk forward in expectation. The season of wondering is giving way to the season of fulfillment. Heaven is watching, and heaven is smiling. What was chosen against all odds will stand because it was chosen by God. My beloved soul, as this revelation continues to unfold, I need you to quiet every voice of doubt that tries to interrupt what heaven is confirming right now, because what God hand-picked cannot be undone by insecurity, cannot be overturned by fear, and cannot be delayed by human opinion. Listen carefully. The very odds that stood against this union were allowed by God to strengthen it, not to stop it. Every misunderstanding refined perception, every delay deepened longing, every silence purified intention. You thought the distance meant disconnection, but in the spirit realm, alignment was intensifying. My beloved soul, do not drift away from this sacred unveiling, because what is being spoken now carries weight. The Lord says in Romans 8 verse 28, "And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to His purpose, and this love is not outside that promise, it is inside it." All things, even the heartbreak, even the confusion, even the waiting, have been woven into divine strategy. Against all odds means that when circumstances said no, destiny whispered yes. When logic said impossible, faith said ordained. When you almost gave up, heaven refused to. Hear this deeply, you were protected from premature connections because what is hand-picked must meet you at the right version of yourself. If it had come earlier, you would have misinterpreted it. If it had arrived before healing, you might have sabotaged it. God was not denying you, He was preparing you. My beloved soul, stay with this message until the final word settles into your spirit, because something is breaking loose. There were tears you cried alone that no one saw, but heaven recorded every drop. Psalm 56 verse 8 says that God collects your tears in His bottle, and if He values your tears that deeply, do you think He would ignore your prayer for covenant love? Never. Heaven is watching, not with indifference, but with intention. The reason you felt drawn here is because your spirit recognizes when truth calls your name. God hand-picked me to be your soulmate against all odds means this connection survived storms it did not even know it was enduring. There were moments you both were being shaped in separate seasons, unaware that you were being molded for each other. Character was being carved. Faith was being stretched. Pride was being softened. My beloved soul, do not skip this sacred portion, because understanding this will anchor you. Divine love is not rushed, it is revealed. It is not forced, it is unfolded. And when it unfolds, it carries peace that confirms its source. Isaiah 43 verse 19 declares, "Behold, I will do a new thing, now it shall spring forth, and you are standing at the edge of that new thing." Against all odds means even generational patterns that try to repeat themselves are being broken. Cycles of abandonment are ending. Patterns of fear are dissolving. God is rewriting what history tried to dictate. My beloved soul, this is not just romance, this is restoration. It is the healing of old wounds through new covenant. It is the mending of what once felt permanently fractured. Do not leave yet, Heaven has more to reveal, because what comes next is deeper. You have questioned your worth at times, wondering if you were too much or not enough, but God does not hand-pick by accident. He chooses with precision. He sees beyond surface. He sees the calling on your life. He sees the strength behind your softness. He sees the loyalty in your heart. And He does not unite randomly, He aligns purpose with purpose. Listen carefully, when God hand-picks a soulmate, He is not only thinking about companionship, He is thinking about destiny. Together you will push each other toward purpose. Together you will pray with power. Together you will withstand storms that once would have broken you alone. Ecclesiastes 4 verse 9 says, "Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor." That reward is not just material, it is spiritual growth, it is shared strength, it is multiplied faith. My beloved soul, remain attentive, because the enemy tried to convince you that your waiting meant rejection, but it meant reservation. You were reserved for something sacred. Against all odds means what seemed blocked was actually being preserved. And when preservation finishes its work, manifestation begins. You will see doors open that felt permanently shut. You will feel clarity where confusion once lived. You will sense peace replacing anxiety. This is not imagination, this is divine timing. Habakkuk 2 verse 3 says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." The delay was not denial, it was appointment. My beloved soul, do not rush ahead of what God is carefully unveiling. Stay until the end of this word, because the final wave carries assurance. There is a sacred stillness forming around your heart right now. Fear is loosening its grip. Doubt is losing authority. Hope is rising again, softly but steadily. And that hope is not fragile, it is anchored in promise. God has not forgotten you. He never forgot the nights you whispered, "Lord, I trust you with my heart." He never ignored the moment you surrendered control and said, "Your will, not mine." That surrender activated alignment. Against all odds means even your mistakes could not disqualify you. Grace covered you. Mercy redirected you. And now favor is positioning you. Hear this clearly, divine selection cannot be cancelled by human imperfection. What God chooses, He sustains. My beloved soul, receive this gently but firmly, you are not chasing destiny, destiny is converging toward you. There will be a moment when everything clicks, when understanding replaces uncertainty, when recognition feels effortless. It will not feel chaotic, it will feel ordained. You will sense confirmation in your spirit before words are spoken. That is how heaven seals what it hand-picks. Psalm 37 verse 23 says, "The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and those steps are leading toward alignment." Do not grow weary in faith. Do not retreat into disbelief. Heaven is closer than you think. Stay with me just a little longer, because what is about to settle into your spirit will anchor you in peace. Against all odds means what was statistically unlikely is spiritually inevitable. The hand of God has been steady over this story from the beginning. You were never wandering without direction. You were being guided without realizing it. Every closed chapter led you here. Every lesson shaped you for this. My beloved soul, breathe in this assurance, you are chosen, you are seen, you are prepared. And what was hand-picked for you is being hand-delivered in divine timing. The season of questioning is fading. The season of fulfillment is rising. Rest your heart in that truth. Trust the process. Trust the promise. And above all, trust the one who orchestrated it all against every odd that tried to stand in the way. My beloved soul, as this divine current continues to move through your spirit, I need you to understand something that will steady your heart forever. What God hand-picked was never fragile, it was forged. It was not built on fantasy, it was built in fire. Against all odds does not mean barely surviving, it means divinely sustained. It means heaven defended what earth tried to complicate. Listen carefully, there were spiritual crossroads you did not even recognize, moments when one decision could have delayed everything, yet somehow you were redirected, somehow you were restrained, somehow you were guided away from what would have entangled you in the wrong covenant. That was not luck. That was protection. Proverbs 3 verse 6 says, "In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths," and he has been directing you even when you thought you were lost. My beloved soul, do not skip this sacred unfolding, because what you are realizing now will dismantle years of doubt. You were never behind. You were being positioned. Every season of solitude carved depth into your spirit. Every disappointment sharpened your discernment. Every betrayal taught you the value of loyalty. God was not wasting your pain, he was investing it into preparation. Against all odds means even when the world labeled you too sensitive, too intense, too faithful, too different, heaven labeled you chosen. And chosen hearts are not paired randomly. They are aligned intentionally. Hear this deeply, divine love is not found by accident, it is recognized by alignment. There will be a resonance between your spirits that cannot be manufactured. There will be peace that silences overthinking. There will be confirmation that outshines fear. And when that moment arrives, you will look back and understand why every previous connection had to fall apart. They were rehearsals for recognition. My beloved soul, stay with me until the end, because what heaven is sealing now is eternal. Isaiah 54 verse 17 declares, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper," and that includes weapons of delay, weapons of misunderstanding, weapons of insecurity. They may have formed, but they did not prosper. You are still here. Your heart is still open. Your faith is still alive. That is victory. Against all odds means even when generational curses tried to whisper, "Love does not last in your family," God interrupted the pattern. He is establishing something new through you. A covenant that models grace. A partnership that reflects Christ's love. Ephesians 5 speaks of a love that mirrors Christ and the church, sacrificial, honoring, steadfast. That is the blueprint heaven has in mind. This is not shallow attraction. This is sacred union. My beloved soul, do not allow impatience to erode what patience has built. The timing is precise. God is never early, never late. He is exact. There were inner battles you fought alone, wrestling with insecurity, confronting past trauma, surrendering old attachments. Those private victories made you ready. You did not just wait for love, you became someone capable of sustaining it. Against all odds means even when you questioned your worth, God never did. Even when you doubted your desirability, heaven saw your value clearly. You were hand-picked because your spirit carries humility, resilience, and faith. Those qualities matter more than surface. Listen carefully, there is a shift happening. You may feel it subtly, like a gentle stirring, like anticipation without explanation. That is alignment drawing near. When divine appointments approach, your spirit becomes sensitive. You start releasing what no longer fits. You begin feeling peace about what once hurt. You notice doors closing without resistance. That is not loss, that is transition. My beloved soul, remain attentive, do not leave this word unfinished, because the final wave carries clarity. Psalm 27 verse 14 says, "Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart." Your waiting was strengthening you, not weakening you. It was building endurance so that when love arrives, you receive it without fear of abandonment. Against all odds means even the enemy's attempt to harden your heart failed. You chose softness. You chose faith. You chose to believe again. And that choice activated heaven. God hand-picked me to be your soulmate means this union carries divine endorsement. It does not mean there will be no challenges, but it means challenges will not destroy it. Because what is built on God withstands pressure. Matthew 7 verse 25 speaks of the house built on rock. When storms came, it did not fall. That is the foundation being laid. My beloved soul, imagine the peace of knowing you are loved intentionally, not accidentally. Imagine the comfort of shared prayer, of shared vision, of shared surrender. That is what is being prepared. And preparation is almost complete. You are closer than you think. Against all odds means even when timing seemed mismatched, heaven was synchronizing calendars. Even when distance felt permanent, circumstances were shifting quietly. Even when silence felt final, conversations were being prepared in unseen realms. Do not underestimate the unseen. The spiritual realm is active. Angels are assigned. Favor is moving. This is not exaggeration, this is orchestration. My beloved soul, breathe deeply and receive this final assurance. You are not chasing a fantasy, you are stepping into fulfillment. The prayers you prayed years ago are echoing now with response. The seeds you sowed in faith are breaking through soil. Galatians 6 verse 9 says, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap, if we do not lose heart." This is due season. Do not lose heart now. Against all odds means the story will testify of God's faithfulness. People may not understand how it happened. They may not see how circumstances aligned. But you will know. You will remember this moment. You will remember when hope was rekindled. You will remember when confirmation settled into your spirit like peace after a storm. My beloved soul, hear this final declaration: what God hand-picked cannot be overturned. What He ordained cannot be erased. What He aligned cannot be permanently divided. The season of loneliness is yielding to companionship. The season of questioning is yielding to clarity. The season of waiting is yielding to arrival. Rest in that promise. Stand in that faith. And walk forward knowing that against all odds, heaven chose this, heaven preserved this, and heaven is now bringing it into manifestation. Peace is surrounding you. Favor is guiding you. And what you have been praying for is no longer distant, it is near, it is approaching, it is unfolding, by the steady and sovereign hand of God. My beloved soul, as we approach the closing of this sacred revelation, feel the weight of what has been spoken settling into your spirit like holy oil poured gently over a weary heart. This was never a random message, this was an appointment. You were guided here with precision. Heaven calculated this moment long before you pressed play. Against all odds means the statistics did not matter, the timelines did not matter, the opinions did not matter, because when God hand-picks, He overrides. Listen carefully, there were forces that tried to discourage you from believing in covenant love again, whispers that said, guard your heart by closing it, but God said, guard it by trusting me. And you chose trust. You chose faith when it would have been easier to choose numbness. That choice honored heaven. My beloved soul, Do not let this final stretch pass you by, because what is being sealed now is peace. John 14 verse 27 says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you, and this peace is your confirmation." Not anxiety. Not striving. Not desperation. Peace. The kind of peace that does not need proof because it feels aligned. Against all odds means even when you doubted the possibility, God never doubted the promise. Even when you questioned if you were ready, He knew you were being readied. And now the pieces are aligning with a quiet confidence. You may not see every detail yet, but you can sense the shift. Doors are moving. Hearts are softening. Conversations are being prepared. Paths are crossing. Heaven is watching, and heaven is smiling over what is unfolding. My beloved soul, hold this truth firmly: you are not forgotten, you are favored. You are not late, you are aligned. What God hand-picked is being ushered into manifestation with divine timing that cannot be rushed and cannot be stopped. Psalm 138 verse 8 declares, "The Lord will perfect that which concerns me, and this love concerns Him." This union concerns Him. Your joy concerns Him. Against all odds means the testimony will be undeniable. It will not be forced, it will not be manipulated, it will simply unfold with divine clarity. And when it does, you will recognize it not by chaos, but by confirmation. So rest now. Release fear now. Expect goodness now. I declare over you that what you prayed for is very near. The waiting is ending. The alignment is complete. The breakthrough is at the door. Walk forward with faith, because God hand-picked this against all odds, and what He has joined in the Spirit is stepping into reality. Peace be upon your heart. Expectation rise within you. And may you stand in divine confidence knowing that your covenant is coming, your promise is alive, and your season of fulfillment has begun. Type Amen.